Mr. Nоймайер,
Yes.
it's a pleasure to see you in Russia again.
Thank you.
We're located today in the Stanиславский Music Theatre, where will be in autumn premiere of your third ballet already in this company. And now Tatьяна. So she was called Tatьяна. Why do you choose this angle of famous Pushkin piece?
Well, I think every time we use great literature as a source for another work of art, we cannot translate that literature exactly. We really use it as a source from a young, very young girl living in her dreams to a woman who makes a very balanced, rational decision in her life. And it is she, Dostoevsky, who said in his long speech about Pushkin that she is the hero of the piece.
But as I heard, you also put some more environment about it, like encyclopedia of Russian lifestyle, and you located in 20-30 years. Why
Yes.
you choose this time?
Well, I think the importance is, I always feel that ballet is something which lives in the present tense. We should not feel we are observing something in a museum. She lives in a romantic dream world. She lives with characters who are not those characters that are with her, but are characters which she read in a book and who time of Russia. It takes place approximately somewhere between the 20s to the 50s, something like this. And in the end, the St. Petersburg scene is probably even much later, perhaps it is now. As with the other two pieces I did here, as Chaika and as also The Little Mermaid.
I must ask, how was the premiere in Hamburg?
Exciting also because it is not only a new choreography but a new music. The music is by Lera Auerbach. It was in 2007 when I first had this idea that we began to discuss this music, and it was a wonderful moment. It's an extremely interesting also musical point of view towards the piece of Pushkin.
Lera Auerbach is famous in the West, but not so much in Russia. How do you first met her or heard about her?
I met her because of a wonderful violinist called Vadim Glutman, for whom a piece was written by Lera, 24 preludes for violin and piano. And I had worked with him on another project, and he invited to produce a ballet, create a ballet for the Royal Danish Ballet for the 200-year celebration of Hans Christian Andersen. And I decided The Little Mermaid, verse roman of Pushkin. It was clear I didn't want to use a music which was already written. Lera seemed exactly right for this because, of course, she was born in Russia.
When you find your co-writer, co-creator, it's a better result maybe, because like Desyatnikov with our Ratmansky, they're also doing together some ballets, and it's become quite an interesting experience. About main ballerina who will perform Tatьяна, I know you're doing casting right now, but probably every Russian ballerina would like to work with you. And I know especially Zakharova and maybe Vishneva. Who do you choose and how you...
I had a wonderful experience working with Svetlana Zakharova at the Bolshoi Theatre in spring with the Lady of the Camellias. I think I had been thinking of Diana Vishneva, who will dance the premiere here in the Stanisslavsky Theatre.
When you first think about this idea, what was the first kick which inspires you?
Many, many years ago, there was a beautiful production of, and in 2007, I saw a fantastic production of, for me, fantastic production of the opera, Andrea Brett. And she placed the opera in the 1980s in Russia. And somehow seeing this work freed from the historical frame, the way John Cranko saw it in the middle of the 60s, and which I think is a classic ballet of a story ballet, because on the other hand, I think that Pushkin's text is a verse roman. It is a verse novel. If we are watching reality or if we are watching someone's dream or nightmare.
Sometimes Western directors, when they have look in our history, in our literature, they have new, fresh and unusual look on that. Like Anna Karenina, recent film with Keira Knightley, or Onegin with Ray Fiennes, which I think one of the best Onegin because he portrays. But in that film, Liv Tyler, I think not the best option for the Tatьяна. What is the main psychological key for you, Tatьяна?
We create, I think, out of three things. We create out of the source material, which I constantly read. Pushkin says, Tatьяна is not beautiful. Tatьяna is wild as the forest deer. Second thing is, of course, the material, the person that I work with. The ballet was created on a dancer of mine called Hélène Boucher. And of course, working with her each day, Pushkin speaks of his characters because he speaks as if they were people he knew, who surprised him. Tatьяна left Onegin. I'm very surprised. I didn't think she would do that. I think this is wonderful because this is what creation means. So I don't come to the rehearsal with a formula of how I believe Tatьяна must be. I try to create through my instinct.
So you don't know where your character will lead you next moment?
No. The character of Onegin is extremely enigmatic because we have sort of very cliché ideas. Either Onegin is a very evil man and he was a terrible person, or we have Onegin was a very sensitive man and he was a man of the Romantic period like a Byron. Can read it, translation, but I did read several. And I think there are certain things that are undeniable. The idea of wearing a mask of a certain, between Onegin and Lenski, very interesting, and how they have affected each other. I find this friendship, the tragedy of the story is he kills this person.
It's like you're killing the best in yourself. It's very interesting you focus on Tatьяна because nobody before, I think, do not make her main hero of the story. And I think she deserves that I'm a Madame Bovary. This is about me.
Just because I call the piece Tatьяна doesn't mean we have her standing in front of everyone all the time. Obviously, we need to have these characters with which she reacts. But I call the piece Tatьяна because I think that we understand more of her inner life and more of her activity in directing her life at the end of the piece.
Is it a co-production of this theatre and Hamburg Theatre?
It is a co-production mostly in the sense that I've never given a new work away so quickly. It was my connection with this theatre, with this company, that made me decide we could try to do something like this, except for the commission of the music, which is a shared commission.
I wish you luck with the premiere in autumn and waiting for your book.
Good.
My questions to the
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Nice to talk to you.